students. As John Arthur, our Utah's 2021 Teacher of the Year and current National Teacher of the Year finalist bravely told me, we have, he said, we have to recognize that we've all been affected by this pandemic. Healthy people can teach children how to be healthy, but unhealthy adults are going to have a really hard time doing that. We really need to focus on our teachers, and I agree. To Utah's educators, I want you to know that we see you. We honor you. We are so grateful for your daily sacrifices and especially for the bravery you have displayed throughout this past year. Thank you for who you are and for what you do. Now, I want to introduce a very special person. Her name is Rosa Sanchez Garcia, a standout student who will then introduce one of my favorite people, John Arthur. Rosa is an honor student in 8th grade here at Glendale Middle School. She is highly involved in school and loves guitar and ukulele, anime, and her new clubs. Rosa is also deeply involved in her community, especially with their local powwow circuit, where she has done dance competitions for several years. She was Little Feathers Princess from 2016 to 17, where she proudly represented her culture, served as a role model for others, and performed service in her community. She's also proudly bilingual and bicultural. Rosa is so inspiring to me. I admire her and absolutely positive that she will be a great force for good in our state throughout her life. Rosa.
Buenas tardes. Thank you, Ms. Cox. Oh, where'd she go? Thank you for the introduction. It's a great honor to be here at this very special event, welcoming our First Lady of the United States, Dr. Jill Biden, to Glendale Middle School. As we say at Glendale, it's a great day to be a mighty lynx. My name is Rosa Sanchez. I am an 8th grade student here at Glendale. I want to give a special thank you to my teachers who are here today for all they've done to make sure my classmates and I have received a meaningful and quality education, especially during the global pandemic. I've had a lot of great experiences during my time at Glendale. My favorite class is science, and I love the experiments we get to do. I love being involved as an editor, photographer, and news reporter for our school news, the Glendale Buzz. Another experience that has been meaningful is being involved with my Native American dance group. Being part of the local powwow circuit has given me opportunities to learn more about my heritage and represent my family's culture in the bordered community. Unfortunately, during the pandemic, dance opportunities have been more limited. COVID has brought many challenges to my community, not just in terms of health, but also economically, educational, and even emotionally. I'm grateful to not only be part of Glendale Middle School, but of the community here and in the Glendale neighborhood of Salt Lake City. Our community has come together to support each other through the pandemic, and as a result, we are much closer and stronger than we were ever before. We are honored to have Dr. Biden with us today in our Glendale community and look forward to hearing her remarks later in the program. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. John Arthur, a 6th grade teacher at Meadowlark Elementary, who will be introducing Dr. Biden. Mr. Arthur is not only Salt Lake City's School District's Teacher of the Year, but also Utah's Teacher of the Year and one of our finalists for the National Teacher of the Year Award. He is a strong advocate to students and is quite famous for his YouTube music videos and his engaging lessons. Please welcome Mr. John Arthur.
Rosa, thank you so much. That was the best. Yeah. It's so fun to be back here at Glendale. I am John Arthur. I teach 6th grade at Meadow Lark Elementary, like they said, which is just down the road here in the west side of Salt Lake City. So real quick, if you teach in the west side of Salt Lake City, give yourselves a round of applause, please. I did my pre-service work here when there used to be a behavioral unit, and I learned from the masters here at Glendale how to teach. And I use those lessons every single day in my classroom. It's intimidating, obviously, being in this room with, First Lady of the United States over my shoulder. What'd you do today? Well, you heard of Jill Biden? She's my new best friend. But it's also nice to be here with so many of my favorite people. And I'm grateful to look out at the crowd to see you because I want to talk about us, if I can, for just a moment. Look at us. We're still standing almost to the end of this year. All right? Anybody who is still in school, teaching in person or online, we did it. We did it. I think we're close enough to the finish line to say that. And of course, there's still work to do, right? This crisis isn't over, and we still need to show up every single day for our kids. But we did it. We wrapped our arms around each other, our students, our families, our schools, and we guided everyone as best we could through the worst situation any of us have ever seen. We have been successful. We have succeeded in everything that we've tried to do. No matter what anybody says, no matter what any statistics or data that ever get pulled out about the year 2020, 2021, we did it. We did it together. We didn't know what we were doing, but we did it anyways, right? And we got it done. I'm not going to lie, for the transition online, for me, it was not smooth. It was kind of like learning how to ballroom dance while holding a fish tank in your arms, It was a little clunky, but now it's like I invented the Matrix. I just swipe and teach kids in person. It's no problem. Just kidding. In all honesty, I found myself crying at random times lately. And I think it's because I've been carrying this tension around in my body all year long. And now that I can see the finish line, I'm starting to release it. And I'm guessing some of you are feeling the exact same thing. And to think about all that we've had to endure to make it here, to this moment, it's a little overwhelming. And not all of us made it. We lost precious loved ones. I don't need to talk to you guys about that. Folks like Eddie Valenzuela and Margarita Santini, who lived for others and were adored by all. Mrs. Biden, I wish you could have met them, but we will remember them and recognize that times for our communities will be harder going forward without them. But when I feel the tears welling up, I think of my students and all they've accomplished despite the disasters that they found themselves in. I've watched them do wondrous things through that little computer screen. I watched children taking care of their siblings while also handling business. I watched kids doing math while bouncing a baby on their knee. I watched one of my boys dip out of the computer screen and say, "Hey, where'd you go?" Just to see him reappear on screen, carrying bags, his arms full, helping his abuela bring groceries in from the car. It's kind of unbelievable to think that these families gave us all windows into their world. I don't even like answering the door when someone rings the doorbell, even if I know who's coming. And yet these people let us look into their homes every day and watch their children do hard things. It's remarkable, and I will never forget it. I will unbelievably always be grateful for this year. And to have this moment now where we get to sit as a glorious gathering of survivors of the pandemic, I'm grateful to have had the chance to look out at stood obviously in front of the First Lady. And I tell you, it's the greatest honor of my life to welcome a fellow educator up to the podium, someone who also did it this year, becoming the First Lady of the United States and also the First Lady to keep holding it down in the classroom while moving into the White House, right? And she is guided by her passionate love of education and for students. So allow me to introduce my best friend, the First Lady of the United States, Ms. Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden.
Thank you. Wow, what an amazing school this is, and the students, and this is John. It's very special to be introduced by a fellow educator and Utah's Teacher of the Year. So I can see, you've played so many roles of film producer, editor, songwriter, and you inspire your class, and you inspire your students, and you inspire all of us, really, with everything you do. So thank you. I also want to thank you, Rosa, and you've represented the Mighty Lynx so well today, and I know that your teachers are feeling so proud right now, and I definitely see such a bright future ahead for you. So thank you. We hear so often that our country is, just hopelessly divided. But empathy and understanding the values that Show Up Utah seeks to spread are bigger than politics. First Lady Cox, I'm so grateful for your work to bring this state together, and thank you for your welcome of me to Utah. Thanks. And Congressman Stewart and Owens, we're honored by your presence here today. And Principal Bailey, Jill, thank you for, where are you? Oh, there you are, okay. Thank you for welcoming me here today. And to all my colleagues, happy Teacher Appreciation Week. What's it like being the teacher of the worst year ever? Those were the words that one former student said to John Arthur when he was named Utah's 2021 Teacher of the Year. And John, I can tell that for your students, much like mine, subtlety isn't exactly their strong suit. And as I wrap up my own semester, I've been thinking about a version of that question for all of us. So, what's it like being an educator this year? Well, it's been hard, hasn't it? There's no denying that. And there have been losses that we'll never get back. Lost time with each other, lost learning, and the loss of so many who we love. For students and educators here, like John said, your own Eddie Walenza, Mr. V as he was called, Venezuela, right? I want to pronounce that correctly. Mr. V as he was called, was family to you. And my heart is with all of you who miss him every day. Still, there's been hope too. And I've been so inspired by the generosity and the creativity and the dedication of educators across this country. In fact, I saw that today, the way educators here have helped children express themselves and find their voice through music and art. Because that's what you do, right? You help students navigate a world that they don't always understand. You help them find their sense of confidence, their sense of self. Look at all you've done during this time. Which leads me to answer another question. So how can we thank you? Okay, so candles are nice, mugs, picture frames, we're all teachers, we all know that, right? Our desks are filled. But the best gift that we can give to show our appreciation for everything that you do does not come from a store. It's giving you what you need to be your best. It's investing in you, the teachers. And your president knows that. After all, he's married to me, and he's been with a teacher every single day for the last 44 years. So Joe believes that there is no greater investment we can make than in education. And we've already begun to do just that. It started by making sure that all schools have what they need to safely reopen and provide support to all of our students. And as we work to build back better than before, he's also going to make sure that we create more mentoring programs and pathways to earn additional credentials so that you can grow your career. And we're going to fund scholarships and residency programs to strengthen our education workforce and recruit more teachers of color. And we're going to pay teachers competitive salaries. That's the thanks that we owe you, and the promise that we make to you during this Teacher Appreciation Week. Today, on Cinco de Mayo, I'm thinking about the many Mexican Americans who have shaped our nation, including one of my favorite authors, Sandra Cisneros. So you know I'm an English teacher, so you knew you had to get a little bit of poetry. So she said, quote, "Once you can open yourself to joy, you feel as if you've transformed your sadness into illumination." And that's exactly what all of you have done this year. Teaching is profoundly optimistic. We get to take the best of what humanity has to offer, lifetimes of knowledge, wisdom, art, science, and hand it over to the next generation. We say to them, here's what we've done. Now, what will you do with it? How will you make our world better? And that optimism carries us through. It allows us to take setbacks and heartaches and challenges and transform them into light. So thank you for all that you've done for the students of Glendale. Thank you for your optimism. Thank you for illuminating our world. We appreciate you, and we will work to show you that with actions every single day. Thank you, educators.
Lightning and the thunder, feel the thunder.